back, everybody. This is J.R. Flatter, and my distinguished guest today is Ms. Kiera Branch. You are our HR manager extraordinaire. So, been with us for several years. She's doing a
Yeah.
knockout job. We're really honored to have her here today. So, Kiera, just take a little bit of time if you don't mind. I'll just remind you, we're talking to our peers. Anybody in your shoes, anybody in my shoes, or Brittany's, or Oliver's, or anyone else, what would they want to know about your job?
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I definitely love talking about human resources, obviously, but especially the compliance portion. I am a little bit of a compliance nerd there, so I love taking those documents and dissecting those and figuring out what we need to do as action items. But yeah, I have been in HR. I'm almost 14 years in general. About 7 of those years consist of in government, federal contracting. I worked at a few other previous places as well. I did everything from initially just onboarding. We'll go back a little bit, actually, a little bit of recruiting. Started there with recruiting, initially going to career fairs at colleges and local sites, definitely just throughout the Northern Virginia area. I lived in Manassas for a while, so I did work in Northern Virginia and DC. So I did a lot of that. And then I've also done a lot of HR operational work, which consists of onboarding and hiring folks. So definitely a lot of interaction with new hires, and it's always fun because it's a new exciting beginning for someone.
Yeah.
They could have landed the dream job or something they've been looking for, and again, I think recruiting, it works on both sides, for the candidate as well as the employer. So by the time we get to onboarding, everyone's excited. It's a good time. Everyone enjoys getting to meet who they're working with. So I definitely love onboarding, and then I also love just interacting with people to figure out what they want to do, whether that's personal or professional. I initially had one path, what I thought I was going to be doing by now, but it kind of went other ways, and I'm happy it's going this way. I don't regret any of it. I definitely enjoy what I do. My team right now, there's myself, and then Aaliyah Jones, she's our office coordinator, and then also have Alexandria Turner, who's our HR generalist. So between the three of us, we all help with onboarding, a little bit of recruiting, also making sure they're set up for success that first few days and getting them up and running. And then we also stay with them throughout that time. We're always available. Just throughout Flatter in general, we have that open door policy, which goes a long way. I've worked at places where it's not always the case, so it's definitely very refreshing. Everyone loves hearing that and seeing that in our orientation as well. And I think that it is really important for people to know that there are people to talk to, or we have resources. All of us have different backgrounds throughout Flatter, so I love listening to people talk about their experiences and their backgrounds and shape them who they are today and where they want to go. So yeah, definitely love the onboarding and getting to know people, help them with where they are. I also do help with a lot of the compliance portion, obviously. So we, as being a federal contractor, we do have to submit affirmative action plans. We do have those annually that we need to update. We actually just updated ours and looks phenomenal. We're actually exceeding all the national rates that are out there for diversity throughout the company. So we want to continue that. And then we also do our VEDS 4212 reporting as well. So we do, and we recently have been V3 certified, which is the Virginia Values Veterans. So that came later this fall. So we're working very closely with them with job postings and hiring veterans and helping them out as well. So we definitely love, making that fit wherever we can, especially for our veterans. And then I also, along with the compliance portion, also help out with a lot of that insurance that ties in with that as well. So anywhere from employee benefits up to just general liability for the company with our buildings and all of those items. So all that fun stuff too. And then also to go with all of that as well, we have many other documents as far as compliance, like with I-9s and tax forms, and dipping in the payroll a little bit. So yeah, in a nutshell, a little bit of everything there, but definitely fun, always coming across new things.
So, what kind of education or training or experience do you need to do your job?
I would definitely say I am a SHRM member. So from the Society of Human Resources Management, definitely being a SHRM member is very helpful, as well as getting certifications. I'm actually currently studying to take my SPHR here in August. So I'm hoping I can get that. And also just, I think experience is important, as well as the education. I think that going to a 4 year or even a 2 year associate's degree is helpful, but I also just think just dealing with the human element, just experience is very helpful because I know we can all read things all day, but actually applying it in real
Hmm.
life and interacting with people, and that's one of the things I love. I love figuring out people and how they operate and how they work and all of those things. And it goes into that with the business and being on a program, different personalities, and all of that stuff. So I think experience is also really, really important just so, you can grasp, everyone's not the same and we're
Yeah.
all different for a reason, which is good. So
So, what are some of the differences between human resources in government contracting and human resources in the commercial sector?
I will say definitely on the government federal contracting, I would definitely say that just the big thing one is obviously is the affirmative action plan, as it is anywhere with making sure you're hiring diversity and not discriminating, but definitely making sure you're meeting the requirements of OFCCP and ensuring that you're updating these things annually or as they are addressed to prevent any company risk, I think is very important in assessing the workforce, especially with recruiting. And there are, naturally all of us just have, I think, biases here and there, but just, making sure that we're looking at each person and individual, the same. These are the requirements, given to us for the government, but for these positions to make sure that we're meeting those requirements or exceeding them and ensuring that, it is a right fit across the board. So I think that that is very important versus being on the commercial side. And when I did my previous life doing HR, it was a little bit more in restaurant and recreation, where it was a little bit different with
Mm-hmm.
certain things. And there were just compliance things in general that were very different. But I think in government contracting, it's important to make sure you are hiring within that diverse group and meeting and exceeding those needs.
Talk to us about your relationship with the headquarters. I
Yeah.
think you work closely with the CEO and the
Yes.
COO and
Yes.
others.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep, we're very close, yes, with Brittany. So yeah, we definitely, when it comes to just insurance renewals or just company things in general with the human element, anything that would be beneficial for them to know and communicating those things, whether it's, training that is being requested or things that, we feel we could do better of, or all of those things. I think that we all communicate very well, are on the same page with those things. And same thing working with Oliver, we're ensuring that, especially with the onboarding, that everything's coordinated very well and that set up that first week with everything, as well as like developing different strategies as how we go about whether that's recruiting or maintaining and retaining the employees that we do have is very important. I want to say 40, almost 50% of our employees are employee referrals,
Mm-hmm.
just because everyone does love it here. So we are enjoying and love the referrals because everyone has such a unique background, and some have been in this industry for a while, and some are new to it. But you never know who someone knows or can find someone to do the job. So definitely a lot of connections there, but definitely working closely with Brittany, Oliver, Joe. Now we have Rod in his new role, and so yeah, ensuring that we are meeting all of those things.
You look way too happy to be in HR. Doesn't HR have a bad reputation?
It does. I
Aren't
don't
you the
know.
adversary of
Yeah.
us all? Talk to me about how you overcome that and keep your bright, shiny face.
That's what everyone that's so funny. You're not the first one, JR. I do. I mean, every position I feel like has its challenges and, has its days, but honestly, as long as like I am still involved in that people aspect of I don't want to say counselor, but I mean just someone to help guide or that coach or someone to they
Mm,
can bounce ideas off of or just just they
yeah.
have a day and they just need to talk about it or anything like that. I just love stuff like that. And I have this thing, my husband, if when he watches this, he's gonna laugh, but yeah, I always
Mhm.
feel like I need to fix something or find a solution to help someone and take it on me, which I
Mm.
guess can also be a weakness because I shouldn't take on everything. But but I do look at it as like if it's something within my means that I can help, then I want to help. I want to be there to get them, whether that's personally or professionally. Like for example, with Aaliyah, she started out as an intern with us, and she showed that she wanted to do more and was interested. And I'm like, okay, well, let's go. Let's let's see what you want to learn and take on, and grooming her and teaching her these things. I love that. But then I also learn from her as well because even though I've been doing this for but so long, I still learn new things every day.
Mhm.
And that I like that. I don't want to be complacent and think I know it all because I don't.
So
So
talk to me about you talked for a few times, you mentioned a few times about orientation. What makes a good orientation into a new company? Give us
um,
some of your ingredients.
yeah, I definitely think it is. Um, I think the communication from the beginning is very important. Coordinating it, ensuring the time of where they need to go, the logistical stuff, because you're already nervous anyway, just starting a new job. So I feel
Mhm.
like, in general, just like having all the logistics where you need to go, who you need to see, or if it is virtual, having the dial in information and who it's with, or if there's a point of contact if something happens. So I always start with that because I've been in some situations where I've had to come in and revamp orientation just because someone would start and they'd show up and they have no clue what was going on. And I've been in that personally, just with starting positions. And it's very frustrating. So I think all the logistical stuff and getting them information in a timely manner is really important. And then I also think once they onboard, just knowing who their team is, especially in government contracting, I think that they are hired for the program, but they want to know who's at the headquarters to support them, like
Mhm.
who does what, who does the invoices, who is overlooking this whole program, is it operations director or who do I go to, and being that person of who goes where when they have questions. And then also understanding the company values and the mission and where it's going. Because as we have grown over these last few years, especially since I had started 4 years ago, things are changing and we are going after new things. And you never know what someone's skill set is and what they're interested in. So even though they're hired for a program, we might bid on something that may interest them as well or something they want to grow into. So letting them know about just opportunities and where we are as a company, and then just knowing who their executive team. I think everyone enjoys the fact that you or Brittany or Oliver reach out to people directly, and just letting them know that that we're here to support them is also very important, and as well as not only just where their paycheck information is, but how to log their time, where they need to go for any self-service related things, and just
Mhm.
kind of getting all of those things, those housekeeping things are really important because if you're trying to do something personally and you can't find this information, it's frustrating, and then they want to be able to look at it or see it somewhere. I think those are very important. And I think too, with onboarding, there's so much information, but also having something to go back to, which is why we give copies of the slides or we post things in Paylocity and the self-service portal. So somewhere to reference things, and I always, me, Alexandra, and Aaliyah are always like, if you don't even know where to start, just email us and then we can
Right,
take
right.
you where you need to be. So I think those things are very important with orientation and onboarding.
Great. Yeah, I love them too. I think you do a great job. So, one of the requirements of coming on our podcast and the secrets of is tell us one of your secrets. So, share one of your secrets to success with our
Ah,
listeners.
let's see. I think there's a couple things. So one thing I do for sure is be open to learning. I think we all, like I said, we've done things XYZ or however long, and sometimes we're like, oh, wait, well, we know that. Like I know that. Well, yeah, but there's more behind that information. So if there is like a meeting or information that comes across, because and things change, especially as we've seen in this last year with COVID, I never in my wildest dreams thought I would be keeping up with so much law compliance. I mean, every
Hmm.
day I was every hour I was almost reading new things and stuff. So signing up for things or webinars or going to trainings or joining, coaching sessions or things to keep yourself updated with, some of these things. But then also learning, sometimes there are new ways of doing things or new information. So just being open to learning, I think is really important. And as well as having patience. Like I know that we all have deadlines, we're all running a million miles a minute, but there's also sometimes, personal life. There are things at times where it may weigh on certain people, and everybody responds differently. So, just being patient with one another, especially I think again in this last year has taught all of us that, and being flexible when needed. But then also communicating with each other and ensuring that everybody kind of understands the end goal of it. Like I don't want to have to be that person that's like, oh, we see these few things on your I-9 or whatever, but I'm not trying to pick with it, but it's a certain way the form has to be done. And,
Hmm.
kind of is what it is. We're not doing it to be a pain or make your life miserable. There's a method behind the madness. But yeah, I think those things are really important, especially the open to learning. Because I enjoy learning as much as I can. And I sign up for webinars and trainings, especially on things that I already know, but you never know, there might be something else in that training that I don't know or come across. And then just talking with coworkers, colleagues, previous people that you've worked with or in your personal life, making those connections with people because you never know what you're going to, come across by talking to them.
Well, thanks for that. Those are two
So,
great
yeah.
secrets. So finally, before we sign off, who should we invite as future guests that would be, you think, relevant and worthwhile for our listeners?
Yeah, and I've been thinking about, I'm trying to think if who hasn't gone yet. I'm not sure if has Reno.
Well, it doesn't have to be on part of the team. It could be anybody in your world that you think would be valuable for our listeners. So a teaming partner, a customer,
Mm-hmm.
official.
I will say someone that I learned a lot from in Leadership Fredericksburg last year. It's definitely Janelle Donahue.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she has her story and her why, like, and she was my coach during that time as
Okay.
well. But she has an interesting background and perspective on things. Definitely, I think someone who would be
Okay.
good, and also too Rena still, because yeah, Rena
Okay. Sure.
is quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a great idea. He just got promoted too, so he
Yep,
should be
exactly.
all excited. Not that he isn't already.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, he is. Yeah, those two definitely for sure. They have some interesting out their perspective on things. Just yeah, and that just conversations all the time. Learn something from both of them every time we talk.
Great. Well, thanks for your time. You can let your husband watch. He won't be
Yeah,
embarrassed.
I know. He'll be like,
So,
"Good, he finally told somebody."
as always, here we are at the tail end of our COVID, and we're all back to back with meetings. So
Yeah.
I got to jump off and get on another meeting.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank
Okay,
you
thanks
so
so much.
much.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Bye
Bye.
bye.